Hey guys, I'm Becky, aka actually it's Axel. Welcome back to my channel. Just kidding, I'm literally never gonna say that. Want to follow my channel? Just do it. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. You've been on YouTube before. You can tell I'm still new to YouTube. Anyways, in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about my 2021 Royal Enfield GT650 that I built. I built this bike 2 years ago for the Royal Enfield Build Train Race program, a program where they chose 7 women from across America who have never had any race experience before or road race experience before. They gave all 7 women a brand new Royal Enfield GT650, and then they gave us each some money and 3 months to build a bike into a road race bike. Us on 2 different training trips, and then we were to race our bikes at 3 different rounds of Moto America. Yes, Moto America, the biggest road race circuit in America. So I had no race experience at all. I didn't even know what road racing was when I first applied for this program. But I applied, I told them I had lots of motorcycle experience, and they chose me for the program. So what I actually did was I went into the Roland Sands design building and I said to Roland Sands, I was like, bro, what is road racing? And honestly, that's where our friendship began. So over the course of the next 3 months after that, I built this motorcycle in Roland's shop. I used the expertise of a lot of his mechanics. I had a bunch of sponsors, and I'm gonna go over all of that with you, but it was a really long process. Anyways, I still own this bike, and it looked a lot different when I first got it. I'm gonna throw up some photos throughout this video, kind of what this bike was and how it became this. So the first thing that I did when I got this motorcycle was completely tear everything off. I took apart and removed the whole ABS system. I took off the wheels. I cut all the spokes out. I took off pretty much every single part of this motorcycle: the battery, the electrical system, the exhaust, the pegs, the handlebars, every single signal and light. I took the suspension off, and basically the first day that I first ever had this bike, it was completely destroyed. And I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I disconnected every single cord, and Roland, he told me, he was like, just take it apart. And I was like, okay. So I did that, and then I kind of started learning what I needed for the bike. And one of the first things I did was I needed new wheels. One of our biggest sponsors was Dunlop. We had to run full slicks for the racetrack, which are tires that have absolutely no tread on them, and you have to put heat on them to actually make them stick to the track. And race slicks, they only last a couple days on the track. So because we were getting the sponsor from Dunlop, we had to make sure that our wheels were gonna fit those slicks because we needed them, and they are really expensive. Lots of racers have to pay for that. So I went to W, which is a local Los Angeles company, and they hooked me up with a discount. So now I have a totally different size wheel. Taken the slicks off, and Dunlop gave me some street tires because I don't road race this bike anymore. But then we were sponsored by S&S. So S&S gave us exhaust and pegs, which are like rear set pegs. So you actually sit on it a lot differently than you would stock. You sit on this bike like this. So of course, like, the stock bike could never race on a racetrack because you're getting extremely low around corners. Everything would grind on the ground if you had it stock. The suspension needs to be extremely tough because you're going around these corners and you have to trust the bike really heavily with the slicks. And so I also had the whole front end rebuilt. I actually took the stock suspension, like these forks here. I took the stock suspension and I had GP suspension rebuild them. So this is an extremely nice suspension in the front, but it kind of just looks stock. But as you can see, GP suspension fully rebuilt that. Fox actually ended up giving me these shocks through Roland, he helped me get hooked up by them. These are actually shocks for a Harley Davidson Sportster that I had to kind of change a little bit to make them fit on this bike. I think I was the only one on the racetrack racing with Sportster shocks. Royal Enfield custom made us the fairing and the pieces of this bike that make it kind of look like a race bike. Racetrack, you like legally have to have something that makes it so that your bike can't drip any oil on the ground. So this thing is on there permanently. Super important piece on a road race bike is the front brakes. You pretty much only use your front brakes. You don't even really touch your back brakes. And I didn't have a brake caliper, so Roland Sands crew actually CNC'd me a piece of metal, which is one off. There's only one like this, and I was able to have it on this bike with a really nice Brembo front brake. So this made me able to go really fast on the straightaways, and then right before the turns I can hit my brake as hard as I can and stay ahead of the pack. After I was done building this bike, my first thing that we had to go do was fly across the country and learn how to actually race at a racetrack. So Royal Enfield shipped my bike across the country, and in the course of a month, we did 2 different training sessions that were weekend long. I had never been in a suit of leathers before. Roland Sands helped me design and make a set of leathers. Alpine Stars gave me some race boots. I had like custom made gloves by my company Axle Co, and I just showed up to the track just like a robot, like here I am, like teaching how to road race. And it was pretty much carnage for the first weekend. I was really scared. All the training, it went well, but I just felt like it was really scary. I was scared of all the other women in the program. A lot of them were kind of just like sending it and like racing really hard, trying to push it, but I felt like I didn't really even understand what we were supposed to really be doing yet. Road racing is very technical, very dangerous, very fast, and one of the most dangerous forms of motorcycling that there is. So when we did start going to Moto America and doing practice runs and stuff, I still felt very, very uncomfortable. But I kind of just decided to do my best, and I was like, I'm just gonna have fun with it. This is my one chance to be wearing all of this protective gear and a bike that, you know, a lot of it was paid for. Like, I'm just gonna try my best and send it. And to be honest, there was like some situations with the program that kind of made me just like get a little bit fired up, and I was starting to feel a little bit more competitive. And that first weekend on the track, I ended up getting second place, and like I think everybody was pretty shocked. CJ Lucas, who beat me, she's just so fast. There's like no way I could keep up with her, but I was just kind of alone on the track thinking all the girls are behind me, and like no one was really behind me for a long time. So I ended up like kind of having a lot of fun for once on the track, and I kind of got a little addicted. A lot of the other girls were like having crazy crashes or like struggling a lot, and like I honestly just didn't really listen to any of the coaches or anything, and I kind of just did my own thing, because the reason why I went into the program wasn't really to like become a racer and like racing was going to be my career path. Like I just kind of wanted to do something. I applied for the program kind of around like COVID times, and I had nothing else really going on, and I like really wanted to just try something new. So I was really just going day by day. And then our second race, I showed up and I was like sick as a dog. Like I had just come back from Sturgis. I think I flew straight to the race from Sturgis, and I was just struggling. And I raced thinking I was like, please don't let me crash this thing. Please just let me survive. I remember at the start, I stalled out my bike for a second and I popped a wheelie, and I was so nervous, and somehow I was at the very back of the pack, and I ended up making it to the front and getting second place again. I remember it was just like such a crazy day. I was like, I just can't believe what's happening. I had a bottle of champagne in the crowd. I'll post a picture on here, and I'm just like, wow, just like so stupid. And then the third race we did at Barber, and it was super rainy, and we hadn't learned how to ride or race with slicks in the rain. And they kind of just threw us out there with these rain tires on. They put rain tires on our bike, and I didn't really understand how they worked. And to be honest, I didn't really like that we were going out on the track at all in the pouring rain. And in the first practice round, I think like 4 of us crashed, and I crashed just, you know, in a practice round going around a corner. I'll post that video in here. And after that, like, it just poured rain all weekend, and I kind of dipped out of the race. And as you can see on my bike, this is where I crashed. My fairing got really messed up here. I cracked it here. I got all this. I scratched the motor up a little bit. The exhaust is kind of scratched up. But you know, it is what it is. And I actually never, after that, our program was over. So we had been done the 3 races, and I went home just kind of like, all right, well, I did that. That was cool. Hopefully I'll just get my bike back, and then I don't know, we'll see what happens. So my bike came back to me, and it was kind of crashed up, and I just kind of put it in my living room, and then I got invited to build a bike for Born Free, so I never really went back to the track. I do love track racing, and it was a fun year, but yeah, that's just the story behind my bike. And now we're here. I cut a hole in my belly pan here. You can see I cut a hole down here, and I put a kickstand back on it. So before, you had to have the bike on a track stand only, and now I have a kickstand, and these tires are street legal, so I can actually, you know, move this bike around. I don't have to have a track stand, and I can ride it on the road if I want. I've never registered it or anything, but I might, or I might just hang it from the ceiling of my new office, but stay tuned. So I figured out what to do with my race bike. Okay, bye.